Hello and welcome! Today I'm going to do a little video. We get a lot of questions about the mole, so I was going to do a short explanation of mole mining, prospector mining in general, and probably go do a trip to show you how it all comes together. Now I'll explain how you can run the mole solo, but what I'm going to do is I have mine set up for going with multiple people, because I always have somebody to go with. When I do the trip, it will be with two of us. But I will also explain how, during the trip, you could do this all solo. So, where we start here, I personally like HUR-L1. There's multiple reasons. One, it's close to ArcCorp. I usually sell in ArcCorp. And the other bonus is, if you're planet mining, Lyra is the spot to be. Now, you can mine out in the asteroid belt here, but as of this patch, 17.2, there's a lot of unscannables in the asteroid belt, and that will drive you crazy. So, there's multiple different refineries you can do it at, but HUR-L1's really the best Quantanium mining outpost. Now that being said, Quantanium mining is the best mine, hands down. Everything else is kind of pointless, to be honest with you. I don't like that that's the fact, but it is what it is. So, we start here at HUR-L1 Wide Forest Station. Now, this place is a refinery, has a food court, gallery, buy weapons and armor, med bay, all the regular stuff. So you can pretty much live out of this place. And what you'll find, a lot of people here, Quantanium mining. Hey man, what's up? Never short on being able to find people to go with. If you want to start new, just type in the chat. You usually find somebody in the chat, or you can just run around and voice comms people. Anyway, we'll start by heading down to the refinery. Now, once you're down here in the refinery, there's two things I'm going to show you here. One, it will come in later when I finish the trip, but up here is the refinery processing. Now here's where you can just sell raw materials, and here is where you can actually process the materials into refined ore. Now with the refined ore, this guy's doing some right now. See, he has the Quantanium, he's getting a quote up. So, the problem is with this though, you have to then transport this with a cargo ship to be sold. So, if you're trying to get started and make some money, you can use this, but I would not recommend ore sales. I would recommend processing. Now in here is the Mining Support Center. This is where you buy parts, modules, gear, RP supplies.
Feel free to take a look around.
And you don't need any special armor, but it's probably good to have at least a suit in case you have to get out of your vehicle. You know, you can go with clothing, but it's up to you. Now I'll also mention that you can rent
Hi, good to have you back.
a prospector. I recommend not doing this because this can't mine Quantanium. That being said, if you have a friend who has a prospector, you could rent one of these and go mining with him. And with the rented one and outfitted one, you can crack almost any rock. So there is kind of uses for somebody getting started, but that being said, you should find somebody to play with. My org is always looking for more people, so if you're looking for somebody to play with, check the description, because there should be a link to the Discord, and there's plenty of people in there that'll go with you. Now, when it comes to mining heads, these three aren't good. They're good for maybe some things, but what you're looking for, if you're doing prospector, you want a lancet. Now, if you're doing mole mining, you want one helix and two lancets. You can do all lancet, but the helix has its own benefits as well.
Anything you like?
So let me go to utility.
Hey, back again, I see. Welcome.
And we will go to mining laser heads. So, lancet 1. That's what fits on a prospector.
Hey, back again, I see. Welcome.
Now I see they don't have any more here. So I must have bought my helix and my lancet 2, which is for the mole, somewhere else. Now, I can't quite remember where I bought it, but I will put that in the description as well. But what you need for the mole is size 2. Size 1 fits the prospector. Now, gadgets, I've not really started using the gadgets yet, but these Bormax ones, if you're cracking really, really big rocks by yourself in the prospector, these are very useful. You could also use them for by yourself in the mole, but if you're taking the mole, just take somebody else with you. You know, it's pretty easy to make friends in this game. We're open to playing with each other. So, modules. I have a setup on my mole with all passives. Now, with all passives, it's more expensive if you blow up the mole. So that's why you want to take a good crew with you and don't have a lot of random people. But that being said, if you're going solo by yourself in a prospector or a mole, you will need either those gadgets and maybe even a mixture of the gadgets, the Stampede active module, and they don't sell them here. You're looking for a Surge module, but I don't see them here actually. To buy the Surge modules elsewhere and take them here then. I don't use the Surge modules or the Stampede, but they're actually required for cracking large rocks by yourself. Now, there's a way to use them, and I'll show you how to use them, but the passive ones, when you put them on, they just stay there forever, and they don't have charges. Where these have uses. So you can only crack, let's say, 5 rocks until you need to buy a new module, which is not, you know, it's 1400. It's not a big deal, but I enjoy putting the passive modules on is the way I do it. So anyway, I will show you the ones that I get for my ship just in the ship menu. Now, as you can see, there's always people here. People running around. So if you're looking for somebody to play with, it's really not hard to find people. Just ask, and I'm sure you'll get people who want to come with you the mole. Pull the mole up. So, for components on the mole, I'm not getting into combat, and it doesn't really matter right now, but I put a Chill Max in for coolers, because they're the best cooler. Now, that's non-combat. Power plant Durango, best engine for non-combat. I put an XL1 in just because it's the fastest and it helps you get back and forth from the refinery quickly. And 2 FR-76 just in case somebody starts shooting at you. With 2 FR-76 you should have no issue getting away from them. The mole is very slow, but you should be able to jump away unless they catch you in a bad position. Now for turrets, doesn't matter. Utility. So this is where you'll see I have 2 Lancets and a Helix. Now what you want is, you almost want, if you're going to go solo, you want to have a Lancet up in the front one. And if you're going to go with multiple people, you almost want to have Lancet, and the Helix up front. But we'll start here. Now, Lancet turret, what I do with that, I have a filter on every single one of my things, which is 30% slower extraction rate, which really doesn't matter, but you get 20% less inert materials, which is a huge help for making extra money, especially in the prospector. Now with the Lancets, I also put the Ringer on, which gives you a bigger charge window, but it gives a little bit more resistance to the rock, and then a Torrent 3, which gives you a little bit more laser power, but also a little bit more instability. And both Lancets are the exact same setup. Now with the Helix, I also do the filter, because I have a filter on every one. I use the Ringer, which gives you the bigger charge window, but a little bit more resistance. But I use a Vox for this, which it gives it less instability, but a little bit less charge window. So these cancel themselves out a little bit, but the Helix is more unstable, but it's more powerful, so it just kind of helps out. Now, you can put active modules on if you're by yourself, but if you're with a crew, it is unnecessary. And if you have junior crew, they have a tendency to use the module and then blow the rock up and kill you. So having the passive ones, as long as you can explain to them to set their heat at a certain level and then you control it, you shouldn't have any issues. So, that being said, that's the preliminary things you need to know about the mole to go on your first trip. And I will show you here how to go about doing a trip down to Lyra. This will be only about ground mining, not belt mining. But belt mining is pretty much the same principles. It's just you have to jump out there, but I almost don't recommend doing that as of now. But when I get back here, I will show you what a trip looks like.